I had never been much of a hero. That much was clear the first time I found myself stranded on Erythra 7, a mining colony on the fringe of charted space. I'd been sent as a logistics consultant, someone to optimize the colony's supply chains and resource allocations. It wasn't glamorous work, but it was safe, or so I thought. The colony had already been abandoned by most of its personnel. Mining robots still hummed in their silent diligence, and the automated systems kept the lights dim but functional. I had been assigned to oversee the last maintenance shifts before the Planetary Research Council decommissioned the facility entirely. That was when I saw them. Four figures, crouched in the shadows of a collapsed mining hub, their shapes humanoid but undeniably alien. Their skin shimmered with a faint metallic sheen, shifting color with every subtle movement. Their eyes, large, luminous, and multifaceted, locked on me instantly. There was fear there, but also recognition, or at least hope. "Please don't leave us," one of them said, her voice tremulous but surprisingly musical. I froze. Not just because she spoke my language, but because somehow, against all reason, I understood every word, as if it had been translated directly into my mind. Somehow, telepathy was involved. Or some technology one couldn't see. For women, all staring at me like I was their only chance. Who are you?" I managed to ask, my voice cracking with disbelief. The tallest one, her skin a deep copper hue with subtle silver patterns along her limbs, stepped forward. "I am Saren. These are my sisters, Leora, Vela, and Thessa. We were waiting for you." I blinked. "Waiting for me? That doesn't make any sense." Saren's eyes flickered with frustration. "It should. It must. The coordinates, the message, you were meant to come. Only you can save us." The gravity of the situation began to settle over me. These weren't colonists who'd hidden from authority. They were stranded, hunted perhaps, and somehow believed I was their savior. But why me? I was a logistics consultant, not a soldier, not a space pilot, certainly not some galactic hero. Why not someone else? I asked, trying to buy time to think. Vela, the smallest of the four, her skin a silvery blue, stepped closer. Her hands were delicate but raised in a defensive posture. "Because everyone else has failed. You are the only one left who can be trusted. You are human." That statement froze me. "Human?" "Yes," Leora replied, her greenish skin gleaming in the dim light. "The humans are different. You have something the others lack. The ability to choose honor over fear." I had no idea what she meant, but the weight in their voices made it clear they weren't exaggerating. The story unfolded in broken fragments. They had been enslaved, or at least captured, by a faction called the Archon Dominion, who used mining colonies like Erythra 7 as secret research outposts. The four women had been sent to extract rare materials for weapons projects that threatened multiple star systems. Somehow, they had escaped, but nowhere was safe. Their pursuers had followed them across the void, and the only reason I found them was that they had intercepted a transmission I had sent weeks earlier, attempting to alert the Council of Instability in the colony. The message had been coded, but they had the technology to decode it and deduced my arrival. They were counting on me. I should have panicked. I should have run. But there was something about them, their courage, even in desperation. Something about the clarity in their plea. "Okay," I said finally, my voice barely steady. "I'll help, but you need to explain everything in detail. And we need a plan." Their eyes lit up like stars. Relief flooded through them so visibly, I felt a weight lift from my chest. Over the next several hours, they explained the colony's layout, the paths the Dominion patrols used, and the traps they had set. They weren't weak, they were resourceful, but they were also isolated and outnumbered. I could offer strategic thinking, improvisation, and human ingenuity. Our plan was risky: sneak through the abandoned tunnels, override the Dominion's automated sentries, and reach the extraction shuttle at the far edge of the colony. There was no guarantee it would work. One wrong move, and we'd be captured or worse. But there was no other choice. Night fell on Erythra 7, though the term night was relative, since the colony was underground. We moved silently, for alien women and one nervous human, threading our way through the debris and shadows. The air was thick, tinged with a metallic scent of old machinery and ozone from damaged circuits. At one point, a patrol drone hovered directly above us. I froze, but Thessa, her violet-hued skin almost blending into the dim light, motioned for us to lie flat. She had studied the drone's pattern for hours, anticipating its movements like a predator reading its prey. The drone passed, oblivious to our presence. I glanced at them. They were impeccable, focused, precise, deadly in their calmness. I felt simultaneously impressed and terrified. Hours passed. Each corridor was a gauntlet, each junction a decision between life and death. Yet somehow we moved. Somehow we survived. When we finally reached the chamber housing the shuttle, the tension escalated. The airlock was sealed. Dominion forces would be on high alert if we triggered any alarms. Leora stepped forward, her hands glowing faintly. She wasn't just a survivor. She was something else. Biologically enhanced, perhaps, but it went beyond that. She interfaced with the shuttle systems, bypassing locks with a grace that made my fingers fumble on my own tablet. "You're human," she said, almost teasingly. "You still need instruction." I gritted my teeth. "I'm doing my best." "You're human," she said again, softer this time. "That is enough." The doors hissed open. We were in. And then we heard it, a deep vibration through the floor, a warning. Dominion troops were converging. They had been tracking us through the colony's subspace sensors. "Move," Saren commanded. We ran. The shuttle's engines ignited. Lights blazed. And just as the first Dominion squads appeared in the docking bay, we lifted off. In the quiet of the ship, weightless and surrounded by stars, I finally allowed myself to breathe. The 4 alien women looked at me with a mixture of gratitude, relief, and reverence. "You saved us," Thessa said, her voice trembling. "No," I said, shaking my head. "We saved each other. You were prepared. You were courageous. I just helped a little." Saren's eyes softened. "You are human. You carry something remarkable. Courage, yes, but also honor. We have seen so little of it in the galaxy." I felt a strange warmth in my chest. I had never considered myself heroic, yet here they were, placing trust in me, seeing me as more than I thought I could be. Over the next days, we traveled through uncharted sectors, evading Dominion patrols and searching for a safe haven. In that time we talked, not just about strategy or survival, but about our lives, our histories, our dreams. I learned that each of them had once been leaders in their own ways, scholars, scientists, and warriors, forced into submission. And I shared stories of Earth, of humanity's small but persistent efforts to survive and thrive in a hostile universe. By the time we reached the neutral system of Andor 7, a safe haven for refugees and outcasts, something profound had happened. They weren't just 4 alien women who had survived. Through me, they had regained a sense of agency. And through them, I had discovered a courage and a sense of purpose I hadn't known I possessed. When we finally docked at the Andor 7 station, the 4 of them gathered near the viewport, watching stars stretch past the ship's hull. "You could have left us," Leora said softly. "I didn't," I replied. "You could have saved yourself," Bela added. "But I didn't," I said again. Saren's lips curved into a faint smile. "That is why you are human. That is why we trusted you. And in that moment, I understood. It wasn't our species, our strength, or even our weapons that mattered in the vast expanse of space. It was choice, honor, courage. And sometimes, just sometimes, it took one human to change the fate of 4 entire lives. They were alive, they were free, and they had seen humanity at its best. And I had finally realized that even a lonely human could matter in a galaxy that often forgot the small, quiet acts of bravery. For the first time in a long time, I didn't feel insignificant, because 4 alien women had placed their trust in me, and I had not failed them.